Are you listening? Damn.
Another episode of Trash Talk. With me, as always, is TJ O'Connor. Tonight we have Jordan Kamikaze, who's getting ready for Invicta debut. Trash Talk is brought to you again, as always, by Valhalla Combat Sports, Ink Shrink Tattoo out in New Brighton, Minnesota, On Deck Productions, and the Fighters. How you doing tonight, Jordan?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you on again.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Especially during
with it. I mean, guys, I love watching your interviews, so I'm always happy to come back.
Oh yeah, and thank you for joining us during Fight Week because I know that there's a lot of, and I mean, what's pro debut for Invicta? How's that got to be feeling? I mean, making right to the big stage as a pro.
I've been asked that question a few times, and obviously it's special to me. Invicta is a promotion that has always been kind of in my vision for the next step. But I haven't had any, maybe this will change when I get down to Kansas City and around, the Invicta crew and whatnot and signing the posters and whatever, but I haven't really felt any different. Like I talked about in my video this morning, I'm still doing like all my rituals. I'm still training basically the same. It's just a little tweaked because, I'm fighting a girl with 8 amateur fights. So there was more film I could watch on her. So just, that's the only thing that feels different. Everything else feels the same. I have the same, mindset, and everything is, I think the weight cut is going better because this is my 6th fight at 125. So I kind of have the 125 thing down. So I'm going really good. It's kind of spooky in a way because I'm like, okay, everything's going good. Please, like, don't have anything bad.
I think it's a good thing. Honestly, just going with the flow. It's just another day in the office. You know, I think that's good thing. Don't let that psych yourself out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. TJ, did you cut out?
No, it was a little choppy on my end, but I think we're still clear there. But no, Jordan, like you said, like Damian said, appreciate you taking the time to talk to us on Fight Week. This is a fight where, on paper, I think that you guys match up very similarly. You're fighting Claire Guthrie. She's from down actually where I live now in Colorado here, trains down here. And she actually on paper had an identical amateur career to yourself. You both went 7-1. You won your first fight. You guys had a hiccup in the second fight and then finished out strong dominant. So I think on paper this fight is a really good matchup. When you got the call and you found out you're fighting another girl making her pro debut, was that something you mentioned how calm you feel? Do you think that plays a factor in that as well, knowing that you're fighting someone going through the exact same motions you are?
I don't know. I think I'm just used to being in an environment of organized chaos between work and doing, MMA. So nothing really gets me worked up, to be honest. I feel like I, in general, have a kind of more calm demeanor, a little more introverted. So I don't know. I always come off like I'm super calm, and I always get like the ripple effects of the nerves. Like I'm not going to lie and say, I never get nervous because of course, I mean, the ripple effect comes in and there'll be times where, I wouldn't say self-doubt, but I just question like, okay, am I doing everything I need to be doing right now? And I shouldn't really ask myself that because I do a hell of a lot. And I feel like I'm checking all the boxes to prepare for my fights. So I don't know what it is with the calmness. I don't know if it's just in my demeanor in general or what, but I'm feeling really good going into this fight. I feel calm. I've gotten a few people that have asked me like, oh man, like she's got the same record as you. How do you feel about that? I'm like, I'm still gonna go fucking knock her out like I knocked 6 out. I'm like, it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I know how heavy my hands are. I know I trust in them. But I also think on paper I'm a deceiving fighter because it kind of makes me look one-dimensional when you look at my record. And honestly, I've been waiting for someone to test me, trust me. And this fight, again, like I'm waiting. I want to see if she'll test me because I don't just train striking, even though it looks that way on paper. Like I train at Spartan Martial Arts and we do just as much groundwork as we do striking. And I have answers on the ground too. It just never goes there. So, we'll see what happens.
It reminds me of a John Jones quote. This is back when he was first coming up. You know, he says, people ask me or they say I've never been tested. It's like, it's not that I've never been tested. It's that I keep getting straight A's. You know, I think you just keep finishing them on the feet. It never goes to the ground. And it's just been working. So it's like, yeah, I mean, if the test never comes, then no one's going to know what your answer is. So, and then you mentioned checking off all the boxes in training camp and remaining calm. What have you been training or checking off the boxes? What's one of the boxes that you've checked off as preparation for the time change, switching from 3 minutes to 5 minutes? I feel like I have always trained for 5 minutes. I've never really anticipated 3. And I know a lot of times when we spar at Spartan, we train 5-minute sparring rounds. I know that I've picked up myself more of like the sprint aspect and the quality of rounds. So not, you want to go like 50%. No, I have my certain training partners where I tell them, all right, we got a 5-minute sparring match and we're going to go, and we go. And I tell them, grind me, and I tell them, cause I know, the last few women I've fought, and I know that this one too, they've been what I call bullies. Like that's how they fight. As soon as they feel how heavy my hands are, they want to immediately push me against the cage. So I tell my training partners, push my ass against this wall and make me make me get out of it. I feel like the quality of my training has always been sufficient enough to be ready for the 5 minutes. I haven't trained less or more necessarily, maybe a little bit more in certain aspects, but it's a hard question to answer. I think the quality is just better. I think you did answer.
Exactly.
You've always been training for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Always had your eye on the prize, pretty much. Knowing what the end goal is, and not just getting content with the 3 minutes and having to make the adjustment. Your body's already ready. You're ready. I think that might go into the fact on why you're so calm going into this fight too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. That's one of the things I wanted to touch on, because you mentioned how being so prepared just gives that level of calmness. Damian just touched on that. We all know about the work you're doing at Spartan, one of the best gyms, if not the best gym in Minnesota. But one of the things I wanted to ask about was earlier this month, you actually went out to a camp specifically designed for some of the top women fighters in the country. What was that experience like? What were you able to take away from that experience training with, like I said, some of the top women in your weight class and in the country?
Yeah, shout out to SFS. They for putting that on every year and giving women the opportunity to kind of come together and do that. It's really amazing, and I felt really honored because I was to be chosen to go, because I was still an amateur when I was accepted. But yeah, when we went out there, and I think there was around the 20 women mark, and everyone was, I think, under like the featherweight weights. So there was, at Spartan, there's the bigger guys. So there was none of that. So everyone was, around the same size, and there was enough of us where we could categorize like the flyweights and whatever. So it was really interesting. I think it was good for me to go out there, both physically and mentally. I got to train with some pretty elite women. ABC, Miranda Maverick just came off winning the flyweight tournament for Invicta, and then she went over there. So she was a great training partner for me. Pam Sorensen, we don't train a lot in Minnesota, but we got to train over there. That was great. But women, they just move different. They do. They move differently on the feet. They move differently on the ground. They react differently. And I don't have a ton. I feel like the women I do have for training partners, Akila and Kelly, they move at a different level than other women, I feel like. So it was really interesting to try to control more. It was kind of more spazzy, I guess you could say. They just move a lot more, like a panic almost. So that was great, and we got a ton of wrestling in, which I'm not used to. So that was interesting. I took a few things away from that, and just all of the training in general was really great. And mentally, I got a lot of compliments out there, and it not to feed the ego. It was more like a validation, like, okay, I do belong in Invicta. I do belong in, going to the next level.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be validated for people that didn't know me, because of course, like Nick, my husband, or my parents, they could be like, oh yeah, you're badass, like you're the best, blah blah blah. It's like, well, you only say that because you're my husband or you're my parents.
Yeah.
So I hear it from people that had just met me like a day prior. It was good mentally, I think.
Yeah. Having people that have no reason to, for lack of a better word, kiss your ass, they have no reason to do that. So when they compliment you, it means a little bit more, and that's the validation that we all look for, So, I mean, to know that you got that out there probably adds to why you're so calm. I think there's a lot of things that just stack up into that. I mean, you train a lot, you've been working a lot. Have there been anybody? I mean, you've mentioned the women that you've been training with. Has there been anything specific that you've been doing, just preparing for this fight, or anything that you've added?
Added, not really, I guess.
Yeah.
What I'm good at, and then obviously going to this level, I'm expecting women to try to take me down a little harder. So I've been working a lot more takedown defense, in different styles of that. So you could say I added that, but I mean, really, Spartan is a place where we don't skimp on everything. Like, we're always training.
Yeah.
Every situation, we're always training for every scenario that we're going to see in a fight, in the cage, in the ring, wherever.
I was kind of getting into the fact, because I didn't really word it that well. Like sometimes when people are getting ready for a big fight, the step up or something new, or things like that, they start a whole new weight regimen, weight cutting regimen, new diet, new things like that. If you really haven't changed anything, it's like you're just going in there, just another day in the office. And I'm like, I wanted to ask you that just because I'm one of those people that, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
There's always things that we can do better. But like when guys make a huge change and just start bodybuilding, when they were just, dude, you were on a 12 fight win streak, and then you started lifting weights and now you're slow, and things like that. It's just like, it's good to know that it ain't broke. And so you're just keeping it going, keeping the machine in tune.
If they broke, I'm not fixing it. So that's the philosophy for this pro debut. Just going to go in there and keep doing what I do, and just keep being genuine and realistic, and just real in general. I'm going to go in there and be Jordan Kamikaze. I'm not going to go in there and be professional debuter. Like, this, I will be the same person that they watched on film prior to this pro debut. I'm going to just come in there with force for the fit.
Yeah.
I told you, the guys in the last interview, what's your plan for this fight? I don't care who's on the other side. I'm looking for a finish, one way or the other. So that's the same plan. The same plan.
Definitely. Always bring the show. I mean, #1 throughout the entire rankings as your amateur career. I look forward to see you take that next step. That's this Friday night in Invicta, UFC Fight Pass. Be sure to tune in, watch the fight. Just before we wrap this up, Jordan, is there any teammates, anybody outside the gym, anybody who's just been there for you this camp you want to thank?
#1 always my husband Nick. He is the #1. And then I have a few close friends. Someone in particular, Kara. You have been amazing. She's flying down, taking off work and flying down Wednesday to help me cut weight.
Awesome.
And that means the world to me. That's the quality of friendship I have. And then, of course, everyone at Spartan Martial Arts, Tom Kelly, all my teammates. We won't be here all night if I try to list them. Thank you, guys. 3P Boxing, Mike Lewis, he works with me. He's great. Health Junkies, they are awesome. They prep my food. My manager, Kyle Fisher. Zebra Mats, another one of my sponsors. A new sponsor, Hemp Ghana, providing a full spectrum CBD, and then Advertising Concepts, who hooked me up with my official logo and all my shirts and jackets, and she made me a bunch of shit in my banner. So thank you to those guys, and always looking for people to join Team Kamikaze. So if you're watching this, love to talk.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.